Yeah, no, but like, I'm gonna review whenever I feel like it. Gosh! Okay, Napoleon Dynamite is a bizarre movie from 2004, but an entertaining one and a very charming one at that. A movie that I don't, I don't know how to feel about that one. It's it is entertaining. That one is for sure. Like that movie is entertaining as all fuck. It just it's just that awkwardness it has. It gave me a similar vibe to Twin Peaks, the show. I haven't seen any of like the original show. I've only seen the first season, so I don't know anything about the second season or the movie. But it's that whole being isolated in some sort of rural town, just with a different geographical specificity, I guess, and people kind of acting more like people would, not like actors who have barely any flaws to them. They feel like people you would meet, people you would interact with. And Napoleon Dynamite, I mean, okay, I was never that kind of awkward, like the way that Napoleon Dynamite is. I was a different kind of awkward. But I can still empathize with this character because I was kind of a geek. I still am, for Christ's sake, but it's a different kind of geekdom that he portrays. It's an unapologetic one, and I do believe that that's worth something. It is a movie that, for the most part, is maybe about being yourself, but I guess more importantly, just kind of about being entertained. This movie is about the entertainment that you can receive as a viewer. It doesn't really have too much of a focus on its actual storyline, on its plot. There are two plots actually: the dance and the school president election. Which, by the way, vote Pedro. That is not a statement. That is a demand. And yeah, I really liked it. And it's a movie that doesn't vanish from my head. It just keeps on popping up every now and again, and especially Napoleon Dynamite's "Josh" is just such a satisfying thing to say at certain moments when you really feel annoyed about something, but you're not necessarily annoyed enough or angry enough to like curse out loud or yell or maybe have a breakdown. You're just annoyed enough that someone is just kind of being a dickweed, and you just want to voice your dissatisfaction with that. And yeah, that's kind of it. Really, that's kind of the whole vibe. It's not something extreme. It's not. For example, it has a similar idea of a main character to, let's say, Hot Rod. Where the idea is that this dude is kind of an outsider. He's not necessarily hated or anything. He's just like not cool for obvious reasons. But whereas Hot Rod takes the ideas and what the character does to an extreme, Napoleon Dynamite kind of just stays in the bubble of an awkward reality. It is not reality as a whole. It is not always the kind of reality that you would expect. It is kind of a weird reality, but it's a reality that you recognize. Especially lots of people have stated that, and I don't even know where exactly. I think underneath some video about Napoleon Dynamite that like people who were from small towns stated that it felt eerily familiar. And now I grew up in a small town, just not in an American small town, and there are certain aspects that I can relate to, specifically the whole high schoolish time of life. It just like all the awkwardness that a real school brings with it, not a Hollywood type of school environment, which people like look way too good to actually be like normal students. But people have like awkward ideas about what could constitute cool fashion, and people say dumb shit sometimes and get into trouble for the most idiotic of all things, and where even the idea of bullying isn't really all that threatening, because for the most part, I mean, you're at school, it's not that serious just yet. Sure, in theory, serious things can happen there, and let's just face it, there are people who definitely took things to far in a school environment. And I'm not just talking about shootings or whatever, I'm talking like just within the ramifications or within the idea of a normal, school. Um, yeah, I don't, I don't necessarily know what else to say. I mean, the dance is iconic, and oh yeah, I was positively surprised that Napoleon Dynamite didn't go there, and by there I mean they didn't include an actual scene of like sexual harassment, because there's one scene in the movie which it just kind of crawls towards the idea, and you're kind of like, oh shit, they're not gonna, are they gonna do what I think they're gonna do? And then they thankfully subvert this idea wholeheartedly. Thank Christ, because like I'm 100% sure Napoleon Dynamite couldn't have handled, like the movie couldn't have handled the idea of sexual misconduct towards a minor. I think at least it's a minor. It's kind of unclear as to how old anyone in this movie is. Like the dude with the mustache who marries the tall black woman. Sounds really fucking weird when I say it like that, but like that's the best descriptor I can come up with, because I forgot his name and I forgot her name as well. I think her name was Rwanda? His name was Kip or something? Point is, like he, for example, the dude with the mustache, I have no idea how old he's supposed to be. I think it's mentioned once, but I could have been that I misinterpreted some statement. He could be in his early 30s, he could be in his late teens. Like, I fucking don't know. Same applies for when exactly this movie takes place. Like, what is this? Like, nobody has a mobile phone in this movie, but the internet is around, so if we're being generous, it could be like the early to mid 90s, and we're talking about a rural area where people not necessarily caught up with the latest technologies. So mobile phones, even though they might already start to kind of spread across the country, are not anywhere to be seen in this kind of environment, because once again, it's a rural, small ass hamlet. It's what it is. And yeah, the atmosphere is actually kind of nice. You got all these vistas of like white fields, and all these people who, for the most part, definitely have to take a car from point A to point B, or as shown multiple times in the movie, the bus. It's one of the very few reasons why people should have cars, is like if they live in like badly connected neighborhoods that are basically not even neighborhoods, because the house that is next to your house is like 500 kilometers away or something, hyperbolically speaking. Yeah, it's a really entertaining movie. Highly recommend it. Not necessarily if you're not into awkwardness. If you can't stand awkwardness, stay away from that movie. Stay the fuck away. You're not gonna like it. As if you, for example, if you didn't like The Big Lebowski, if you didn't like The Big Lebowski, you're not gonna have fun with Napoleon Dynamite, in my opinion. Or let's just say, if you like The Big Lebowski, but you mostly like it for all the crude stuff, you're not gonna like, if you had something against the inherent awkwardness of The Big Lebowski, but you could kind of get along with the crudeness, then you're not gonna like Napoleon Dynamite, because Napoleon Dynamite is a very family-friendly movie, surprisingly so. There were so many opportunities where I could have thought like, oh my god, are they gonna go like in a more direct route? No. The movie reflects its main character rather well. As someone who's a geek, who's got up with his geekness, and who kind of represents a very asexual spirit. Like, sure, in theory, he maybe sort of kind of has a crush would be an overstatement again. Because, like, it just seems that for the most part, he only wants to get, like, a date for prom. Not for prom, for the dance. Well, because he kind of has to. And at the end of that dance scene, we kind of see that he doesn't fit in. Same with Pedro and that photograph girl. That's the spirit of Napoleon Dynamite, I would say. It's inherent awkwardness, but like a very endearing kind of awkwardness. Now, get the fuck out of my room, man. I need to practice something. Gosh!